Salem-Keizer School District, May 24th, 2021, 6 p.m. We have quorum. I will go through the committee attendance right now. Jacqueline Bechtel, wave,
Here.
hello, here. Sharon?
Here.
Here. Satya?
Yes.
Here. Barbara?
Here.
Good. Kathy?
Here.
Lisa?
Here.
Levy?
Here.
Good. Jesse?
Present.
And I am here, so that gives us quorum. Let me just quickly run through the ones we haven't heard from yet. Danielle? Tyson? Oni? Okay. We have two members absent tonight, Miranda and Marty, or Adriana and Marty are both absent tonight. So we will begin. The first thing is Sylvia is going to read the land acknowledgement for us, all right? Thank you, Sylvia.
Didn't do that when I read it a couple weeks ago.
Hello,
Well, Danielle is here.
Chair Kylo,
Yes, thank you.
Board of Directors, Budget Committee, Superintendent Perry. Land acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is critical in building the necessary trust to coexist in harmony with one another. Indigenous tribes and bands have been inherent on the lands of the Willamette Valley across Oregon and throughout the Americas since time immemorial. In this valley, the ancestry of the Kalapuya reaches the furthest back in time, reminding us that this plentiful place has been called home by its original inhabitants long before the names of the snowy peaks and bountiful waters were re-identified. Today, we acknowledge that the people of this land still exist and inhabit this valley, not as heirs to it or as artifacts, but as reciprocal contributors to their modern society we live in. We forward our respect to the first peoples of this land, the 9 federally recognized tribes of Oregon, and those who have ceded lands here. We reflect on the displacement, removal, and genocide of indigenous people that occurred throughout Oregon and beyond. In doing so, we truly honor the gravity of the past and endeavor to see that people may live in harmony and equity on this land for prosperity. May this acknowledgement carry renaissance as a tool of peace over the land and waters we mutually rely upon. Please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. All right. Now, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And Alice, I understand we have public comment next.
I believe we just have one caller.
Okay, we have one caller, and Sylvia is Aaron.
It's
I-
Jordan tonight, and our one caller isn't on the line. She has not called in, so.
Okay. Why don't we move ahead with superintendent's comments, and when the caller calls in, please interrupt us and let us know.
Will do.
All right, thank you. Okay, Superintendent Perry.
All right, good evening, Chair Kylo, members of the Budget Committee. I just have a couple comments to shape us for our deliberations. So first of all, the State School Fund is still at the legislature with no definitive answer other than we are up to 9.3. The budget that we proposed is based on 9.4, so we have moved up a little bit. The legislature's still in session. Good news was the state revenue forecast is up, so we're still hopeful for 9.4 or beyond. The corporate activities tax, which funds the Student Success Act, including our student investment account, is up. So I think that helps us know that the dollars that we've allocated for the student investment account are solid. I have been thinking deeply about recruitment and hiring. We had public testimony last time about it, and then Levy and I have had an opportunity to have some conversations. I don't have a recommended change for the proposed budget at this time, but Levy and I are going to persist on this topic a little bit. I do worry that we are understaffed in our recruitment office for our human resources department. We know that our Grow Your Own programs are kind of growing exponentially, and some sort of audit on how people enter our system I think would be important. The other thing is a number of our colleges and universities have major grants that they're they're right in the process of getting, that I think will cause us to think deeply about, do we have the right staffing level if we really want to increase diversity and implement our strategies through the student investment account. So again, thank you to our callers last week who really highlighted that in a way that helped us think about. So we'll continue to think about that between the approved budget and the adopted budget as we look at what the revenues are that are coming in. So with that, I don't have any other comments, no additional updates. Typical place when we're in the legislative session.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to acknowledge that Vice Chair Marchbanks has joined us. Well, we can't hear her. You want to say hello?
Yes, hello.
Good, okay, there we are. All right, great. Public comment, has our caller called in yet?
Jordan, do we
They
have
have
anybody?
not. Nope.
They have
No one
not. Well, I hate to have the motion made before we've taken public comment, but that would be the next step. Then we can debate and discuss. Yes, Director Goss?
I volunteer to make that motion.
All right, give me a second and we'll get there. So what we'll do is we will entertain the motion, and if it is seconded, then we will put it on the table for discussion, for amendment, whatever we want to do, and then we will accept public comment when it comes in, if that's acceptable to everyone. Anybody thumbs down on that? I'm not seeing any thumbs up, so I'm assuming there's no thumbs down.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
would you entertain a question to Superintendent Perry regarding the budget before you?
I would prefer that we wait. Will you
No.
be making an amendment, or is it just
No,
a question
it won't
for?
cause any amendment,
just
just a
for-
clarification.
Short question or long question?
Very short question.
All right, I will entertain a short question before we have the motion.
Thank you, Chair Kylo. Superintendent Perry, you have proposed that with the student investment account, we will be able to recruit diverse faculty to our school system. While we are waiting, can the budgeted amount be used to have contracted staff to serve while we are recruiting from out of state, either online or in person, so that we don't wait till we find a real person to come in?
So we have ongoing recruitment strategies that happen regardless of the student investment account. So we have a full recruitment plan that includes both our internal state recruitment, our Grow Your Own programs, and our out-of-state recruitment. And we start that hiring process before you ever approve the budget. I release us for hiring, so we're not waiting for you to approve or adopt the budget. My only comments were from moving forward, is there a different strategy we should be using? But we don't have anything to do with this or our hiring. So we're hiring today, staff members, through our variety of our recruitment programs. We've already looked at our first round of college graduates, and we've started making job offers to them.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Kathy, I understand you were ready to make a motion?
I was.
Okay.
Be it moved on May 24th that the Budget Committee of the Salem-Keizer School District, 24J32, Marion, Polk Counties, Oregon, approves the proposed budget for the 21-22 fiscal year in the amount of $1,494,367,253 and approves property taxes for the 2021-22 fiscal year at the rate of $4.5210 per $1,000 of assessed value for the permanent tax rate levy in support of the general fund and in the amount of $58,770,953 for the general obligation bonds levy.
Okay, thank you.
I will second.
All right, thank you, Jesse. So it's been moved and seconded, and now's the time for discussion, debate, and amendment. Does anyone have anything they wish to say regarding this motion or the budget at this time? Okay, I see Barbara's hand up.
I appreciate it. For some reason, I thought the motion was regarding the public comment, but now that we're talking about the budget itself, I would ask that the district put more emphasis for next year's budget. I would like to see a lot more money in dual language. Jesse made that comment last time. I'm in agreement with that. We need to put much more money into dual languages classes. I'm not necessarily going to fight this budget, but I just want to put the district on notice that next year I would like to see an increase in that or explanation why that isn't going up, as well as movement with conversation about how to get more teachers that are diverse, whether that be through conversation with Levy or some sort of organization with a community on ideas on how to start changing people's mindset on the benefits of being a teacher, especially in minority scenarios. So I just wanted to make that be known because I know that it's maybe not the right time to start talking about it yet, but I am a new board member for the budget, and those are some priorities for me, dual language and getting more diversity as far as the teachers. Okay. So that's just a comment. I also had a question as to whether or not teachers ever have some sort of opportunity to talk about what their needs are. If there's some sort of district-wide questionnaire that goes out to teachers at the end of the year to see what their priorities are, what money they need, and what areas they need. I'm just curious why we don't see more comments from the teachers as we saw last week with one. So those are my two things. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. And I'm certain the superintendent and the COO and others heard your concerns. Hello? Okay, one screen just went down. But you're all still there? Somebody nod their head, shake? Yeah, they're still over here. Oh. All right, so I know where I'm looking. So they heard your comments, Barbara. Thank you for those. And in terms of what I heard you ask for, was some sort of evidence or process that the staff would be able to give input into the budgeting process for what they need prior to it coming to the budget committee. Is that what I heard correctly?
Yeah, I asked that for next year. We have some information as to whether or not the staff has been notified the opportunity in an easier way, some sort of questionnaire, and then also let the district know that I will be looking for more money into dual language and teacher recruitment for the diverse teaching opportunity for people. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm happy to go in with Levy and the superintendent and talk about ideas. But I want to see more movement for next budget. So because there's not that much time to deal with it now, I want to make sure that those comments come in place for next year. Because if next year we get the same amount of money and dual language is pretty much the 2%, that's for me, it's not going to fly. I'm going to start trying to advocate for more money for dual language as well.
Okay, thank you. I think that's been heard. I'm seeing head nods here in the room. All right, anyone else have a comment they wish to make about the motion, about the budget, any amendment proposals? Anybody? Oh, sorry, Jesse, I didn't see you.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this isn't the ideal budget in any of our minds and hearts of what we would like to see in education. I think Oregon in general isn't that good at funding education. But for what we have, I think that our district is doing a good job at, especially in times like this, getting us on track and making sure kids are set up for success. I think, and I've said it before, I'll say it now, and I'll say it again in July. I think that dual language is the future of education. And especially next year, you will have a public comment come in about the importance of dual language and other programs that make our staff more diverse. But for this budget, I will approve it. I will vote yes, because for what we have, I think we're doing a good job.
Okay, I see Sharon has put her hand up on the screen. Sharon?
Thank you. I appreciate the callers last week that, like Superintendent Perry said, raised the concern, just the ongoing concern. But I do want to acknowledge the hard work that the district has undertaken in the last several years to try to diversify, and has actually made, goodness, I think even since I've been on the board, some pretty significant strides in diversifying the workforce. But obviously more to do. There are so many needs and so many priorities, and when we have a model of how we are funded across the state, which is not a funding model like other states use, we do have some limitations. But I've just always been so impressed with how the district tries to meet the needs, all the needs, and until we're at a place where we fund the quality education model that has been laid out, several years ago about what we really truly need to fund education. But I know it's a huge balancing act for the district, and I'm always very impressed with how the district balances the needs. I was pleased to see the addition of interpreters, and that's the one thing I know our families have been asking for. So yeah, I agree with Jesse. It's not 100% ideal, but I don't have any recommended amendments, and I'll be supporting the proposed budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Satya?
Yeah, I'll be supporting this budget. And this is a very complex, watershed moment in our district, our community. But moving forward, I would like to see equity lens truly be tied to outcome, because that's at the end of the day, I would like to see how it's going to make a meaningful change in communities or children. And the budget should ideally be reflecting that. We talk about equity as the central theme, but I'm not able to see how it is tied to outcomes, say in a children from Black community or Latinx community, or what kind of equity gaps are connected to the budgeted amount, what kind of pipelines we are developing specifically, intentionally for different communities, which historically has been left behind. So that's a different way of sorting out. And another thing that I really wanted to see is bilingual or bicultural, but STEM education, because that is a huge gap in my mind, whether in the field of pipeline to healthcare, computer sciences, and things like that, because eventually it'll help the communities overcome the generational achievement gap, wealth gap, and all kinds of equity gap. So until we achieve that, I'm not completely convinced that we are using a full equity lens, because equity in my mind should be connected to a real meaningful outcome for social upward mobility. So perhaps sorting this budget and helping us understand that way would be a better way for me. It's what I would like to see in the next budget, if possible.
Okay, thank you. Any word on our caller? Sylvia?
They still have not joined yet.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else with a comment, concern, amendment, proposal? Levy?
Yeah, I also agree with Jesse and Sharon about the budget. It's not a perfect budget, but I think it is one of the better ones that I've seen, and there's a lot of work that's been done. So, and I agree with all the callers too. Also, speaking about my suggestion about the diversity.
Yeah. He's,
Can you hear me?
signals if you can hear us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think we
Yeah,
can't
I
hear
saw
you
something.
right now.
Right.
But we're restarting the surface. There we
Okay, Levy, can you try again? Sorry.
Yeah.
There we go. Good, we got you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I saw a glitch happening, and sorry. I'm seeing double of myself, but I can't say it.
We are too over here. We're not looking over there.
Yeah.
So there are 3 of you in the room. There.
You're talking to yourself, Levy.
Person.
Still only 1 vote, sorry.
So I'll try to make it as quick as possible. So I just wanted to say I had some ideas about questions to ask about recruiting a more diverse workforce, especially for teachers, based on personal experience from that's been relayed to me, and that's what I want to bring up. Appreciate the superintendent entertaining my questions, but I would, anyone who has some ideas about that, I would encourage you to reach out, and if that can be a larger group, having that conversation would be good. I think the issue is why we have such a diverse community, but our staff doesn't reflect that. So there's got to be a reason, and I don't think we know the reason why it is. So I think we can start by asking questions and then go from there and develop a plan. So thank you.
Thank you, Levy.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Lisa, is that you?
Reaching for the mic before
I know, I
get
saw that
permission.
out of the corner of my eye. Lisa.
Um,
I'll get to Danielle. Lisa was a little bit ahead of her.
So, super. Well, I just want to say I really appreciate this budget, and I would just echo the comments and concerns for future budget. I just want to recognize the great work around providing the social emotional supports for kids this next year. I think with the pandemic and everything, the wildfires and everything else that we've endured this year, that is going to be one thing that is going to be really sorely needed by the kids and frankly our staff in the school. So I just really appreciate that attention towards that. And I think as a board, I would strongly encourage, just kind of keeping track on that and just making sure that we're providing what we need for kids and for our staff.
Okay, thank you. Danielle? Hello?
Sorry.
There you are.
So I wanted to echo a bit of what Levy said and just add that this is a conversation that we've been having for a few years. I've only been on the school board for 2 years. This is my second budget. And we talked about this last year, and I spent some time in the community with some members, specifically on the topic of hiring diverse staff. And the feedback that I received from those individuals was, well, we have the Grow Your Own program and we have people apply, but the pace of our district for hiring is slower than others, or for some reason our Grow Your Own students who apply don't get hired. And I would just challenge the district to look back at those applicants and reach out and determine if there was a delay in the process that move them along to other districts. I know that we have 2 students from our Grow Your Own in the Corvallis School District. And then maybe just do a community-wide ask. as to why people aren't landing in Salem-Keizer School District. I think that there's some thoughtful feedback that the district would receive from the community, and there does need to be a community-wide dialogue, in my opinion. So that way, maybe there's a set of expectations that's understood within the community as to what the district is looking to hire, so those individuals can try to achieve that goal. So we don't have to keep having this conversation year after year. And then I'd also, in the future months as a board member, be interested in a presentation from the district on what has changed over the last few years in the recruitment for individuals in the diverse communities. I have concerns that we're still spending dollars to send folks to other countries to recruit and hire into our district. I still don't really understand why we can't find them within the United States, or let alone our own state or community. So I think that presentation is necessary, and I think it'll help guide the dialogue that Levy's interested in participating in, so we can find those teachers.
Okay. Any word on our caller? I hate to take a vote before we hear from the public.
They still have not called.
They still have not called. All right. Kathy, would you like to say something?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
So I've been here for 4 years, and it's grinding down to all be home and be traveling and doing nice things. But when I did come 4 years ago, I was asked to sit in on the hiring interviews and what have you. And I have to say, the district did a wonderful job. Now, why they aren't coming or filling out applications or landing in Salem, I don't know. But it wasn't because we didn't give it its all to try and interest them further. It was a good experience and well done.
Okay. All right. Has Tyson joined us? Tyson, you're the only one missing now?
Yes, I'm here.
I didn't hear him. Is he here? Yeah. Oh, did you have anything you want to say about the budget?
I think I disagree with most of what has been said, so I'm good with it.
All right, thank you. Oni, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Thank you so much, Chair Kylo. Let's see. There are a lot of pieces to the pie, right? And every piece matters to the whole. So I said that to say this. I think it's really important that that we continue to look through an equity lens, all the conversation about hiring diverse staff. And I think that not only, I think one suggestion would be to bring in someone from the outside so you can see what you don't see. Because if it's not happening, then maybe there's something that can be added to what you already have to create a more equitable opportunities for everyone. Another thing I'd like you to consider, I guess everybody's saying next budget, but is how to retain staff of color, because I get that they're hired, but they're not retained due to lack of support, lack of resources within from their employer, and so that's an issue. We can get them, but we need to figure out how to retain them and see what they need once they're hired on, because they don't quote unquote fit into the status quo. You're bringing you're bringing difference to the table. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask that if the committee is comfortable voting on the budget without having received the public input that we were told was going to be coming. We've been meeting for just about 30 minutes. They haven't called in yet, unless I get a message quickly from Sylvia or someone. No, I'm getting a no. So does anyone have an objection? Do you want us to wait a few more minutes for the public comment? Or should we go ahead and vote? Somebody, Satya?
I'm for voting.
Kathy's for voting. Satya, you had your hand up.
I would wait for a few more minutes.
Okay.
And then keep community, perhaps they're stuck in traffic or whatever.
Calling. All right, let's take a 5-minute break. to give them a chance to call in, and then we will come back and take any more comments that people have, and then plan on voting. Is that acceptable to the group? I'm seeing some head nods, some thumbs. Yes, all right, 5-minute break, so we will reconvene at 6:35 by the clock on the wall. Okay, I would like to call us back to order. Everyone is here. Because the public comment has not come yet, I'm looking to Sylvia for one last nod. Nope. What we'll do is we will ask that the public comment, if they do call in, that it will be asked that it go to the school board meeting before the budget is considered there. So we will have that public comment, and they will have that opportunity, and the board will have that opportunity to hear it before they finalize the budget. So the person's comments will not be lost. Okay? All right. So anyone else want to take one last shot at the budget before we act on the motion? Once? Twice? 3 times? Okay. All those in favor of the motion as read by Kathy, please. What? I'm hearing voices.
I think Tyson's at a basketball game.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right.
There we go.
All those in favor
Maybe
of
rest.
approving the budget, the motion is as read by Kathy, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay. It sounds like the motion passes unanimously. I'd like to thank you all for your service on this committee. And with that, the budget will be forwarded to the full school board for consideration at its June 15th meeting. So if you have comments or thoughts before June 15th, please contact Alice so those can get to the board. Thank you. And with that, I believe we're adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.